Hey friend, by the end of this video, I am going to give you some tips on how to reduce the amount of time you spend on household chores like cooking and cleaning. However, before we do that, I want to take you on a little journey of self-discovery because a few years back, had I heard these tips I'm going to share, I would not be able to take my own advice because I had some very strange stubborn beliefs deeply seated in my soul that needed to be dealt with. So if you too feel like you're spending way too much time cooking, cleaning, doing all the household junk, let's talk about it. As I hinted at, a few years back, I was struggling. My cleaning business was starting to pick up, which was awesome, but I did not have enough free time to manage it all. And I started to resent things I used to love, but really in particular, it was cooking. So growing up in Louisiana, food is our pride and joy. Honestly, it's like what we're known for. I also saw my mom cooking 3 meals a day for her family of 5, working a full-time job. Family time was let's get together and eat good food. And I loved that. So when I moved to New Mexico, I brought that with me. I would host these big parties, but I'd be stuck in the kitchen all night because I made this complicated menu and I'd never really get to enjoy my party. Worst of all, I was spending like an hour to an hour and a half every single night cooking dinner for my husband and I. And honestly, I enjoyed this. I love food. I was very passionate about it. I would not allow myself to do something simple. Simple equals boring equals low effort. Like those are the thoughts that I had. So when I went to my husband and told him I cannot do this anymore, I felt so guilty to ask him to help me. Because of that guilt, I would never try anything new, really. Like I would let him cook maybe one night and then I'd feel so awful about that I would then be like, nope, I can do this. I want to do this. Because it made me feel safe and secure because it reminded me of family and it reminded me of how I had grown up. Until I finally figured out why I felt so bad about it and what belief was dictating that, none of the changes would stick. I realized that I obviously had a very strong belief that in order to be a good wife, in order for my husband to think I'm worth sticking around for, that's what I had to offer. It's what I was good at, and trying to branch out and do anything new was scary and felt wrong. This was such a huge, spiritual transformation for me that I knew I want to talk about this. I want to make a video about this because if there's anyone else in this situation, I would really like to help guide you through freeing yourself of these limiting sexist beliefs and getting to the other side and living your life and realizing that as a woman, you are worth so much more than housework. I don't even like that sentence, putting it that way, because saying you're worth more than that, but you're still worth that. Housework is just something everyone has to do. But for some reason, in the past, they put it all on the women. So let's talk about you. What are the expectations you're trying to live up to? And where do they come from? And why are you trying to meet those expectations? Why does it matter to you so much? There's no wrong answer. It just is what it is. Now you get to look at it and decide, do I like this? Do I want this to stay here? Do I want this to dictate my life? You can set aside a belief for a short time. Here's an example with the cooking thing. There was the belief that in order to be a good wife, I've got to do this. It's the female's role. That was garbage, so we got rid of that. The value, though, that I find in my passion for cooking, that wasn't bad. Please don't hurt me. Ow. Who's bad is the cat. He chose to stay inside. He chose to stay inside all day, and now it's this. Where was I before this cat attacked me? I don't want you to cop out and say that, oh, well, the expectations I'm living up to are actually someone else's that they're putting on me, because I have to respectfully disagree. Any expectations you're trying to live up to, those are expectations that ultimately live inside of you and come from you. They originated outside of you, but you've internalized them, and now you have a belief that you have to obey that person in order to be a good person. You have to pick and choose whose respect you need, whose admiration you need, and in what regard. You have one life. Let it be the life you led. Choose to disobey. Choose to not care about certain people's opinions. I'm going to give you these tips, and I hope you're going to allow yourself to even do less. I hope that you're not going to feel like a bad mom or a wife or person for choosing to put less effort into these areas. Okay, now that we're done with all the soul searching, let's get into the tips. So, what I have been screaming from the mountaintops for years now is meal prepping. Meal prepping is the way, the truth, and the light, y'all. It's literally just eating leftovers. Just make more food when you make food and eat leftovers. If you think, oh, I'm going to get tired of eating the same thing, or yuck, leftovers, I'm telling you, the pros outweigh the cons. The fact that I'm saving so much time now, I'm just like, what do you mean I'm bored having a protein, a veggie, and a starch? I'm lucky to have a protein, a veggie, and a starch, first of all. So do I really need it to be different every single night? Really? You get used to it. You get totally fine with it. You stop caring so much about what we're eating for dinner. It's pretty interesting. It just saves you so much time, and there's no decision fatigue anymore. It's amazing. Seriously, try it out for 1 week. Also, if you're really not ready to be eating leftovers, that's fine. Just find simpler meals to make. Before, I was making like, oh, I've got my pasta over here, something's in the oven, and then I've got some other thing. No. Find one-pot meals, sheet pan meals, crock pot meals, meals with just less hands-on time. And dare I say it, pre-made meals. If we had a Costco near us and I had a Costco membership, I would be living off of the Costco pre-made section. I'm not above a frozen lasagna. That's all I'm saying. Is it as delicious as a homemade lasagna? Of course not. You gonna come up and be nice? Can you just be nice? Thank you. But there's just more important things right now for me. I'd rather be cleaning my house, training my dogs, working on this YouTube channel, working on my business. The list goes on and on. Exercise. I should really exercise. Okay, my second tip, decluttering. Don't run away. Listen. I know it's usually this huge emotional mental load to decide what to get rid of. Here's my secret. Don't get rid of anything. Just put some things away. Look around, look in your closet, look in your kitchen, everywhere. And just ask, have I used this in the last 6 months? More importantly, do I think I'm going to use it in the next 6 months? If it's an obvious no, just put it in a storage tub, stack them up to the ceiling in some corner. You don't need that corner right now. Because here's the thing, tidy is better than clean. Talk about reducing decision fatigue. When you just have fewer clothes to choose from, it makes everything so much easier. You're just in a busy season of life, put some stuff away to just get it out of your field of vision. The busier you are, the more ruthless you should be. Put away that weird baking pan that can only make like one recipe. You don't need to make that recipe. I don't know if it's an appetizer or a main dish, a side dish, a dessert, but I'm telling you, you can find another recipe that uses like an 8x8 inch pan or even a sheet pan. Sheet cake's good. I know everyone be hating on the sad beige moms. Everyone remembers that. Everything's monochromatic and it's probably white or beige. I just have to say there's a time and a place for your house to look like a mental hospital. Because I was into it for a while and I was also extremely stressed at the time. It's peaceful. You got to give them that. It's very calm. not very stimulating. If I've learned anything as a house cleaner, it's this: the fewer objects you have out, the faster it is to clean your house. Period. There's no getting around it. And that's buying back your time, babe. At the end of 6 months, you can look in those bins, see if there's anything you obviously can get rid of, or you can just keep keeping it. It's fine. But just allow yourself to have a nice, tidy space. And it's kind of fun because then you open the bins, you're like, oh my God, it kind of feels like you're shopping because you're finding all this stuff you like. All right, third and final tip is budgeting for convenience. And I do mean budgeting, not just spending and ignoring our bank account. You've got to do the math, okay? If the reason you're listening to these tips is because you're really busy, because you're voluntarily taking on more work hours to save up some big chunk of money, if I work these more hours, but it means I spend on these conveniences, what do I really wind up making in the end? Okay, so make sure. And, I may be biased being a house cleaner and all, but I'm just saying, maybe hire a house cleaner. Even if it's only like once a month and only at the last like 3 to 4 months of the year or whatever's busiest for you. And something I've seen a lot of people use recently is laundry services, and I think that's genius. There's places you can like drop off your clothes, they'll wash it, dry it, fold it, and then you come pick up. I think some of them even do delivery. And we live in a small town that has a place that offers that. So I'm just saying, even if you're thinking, nah, probably not, look around, they might. Or maybe this is something that like a young neighbor could do for you. Maybe there's somebody who's willing to come over, wash and dry your clothes, fold them, put them away even. Another example of budgeting for convenience would be eating out, honestly. Like if Thursday nights are crazy for you because soccer and all these other things, and there's a restaurant on the way that you can get like family-sized portions or whatever. If it makes sense for your budget, then take away the decision fatigue and just set an alarm on your phone for every Thursday at 5 p.m. You call and you make this order. Don't ask everybody what they want every week. No, you're going to get the same thing. You're welcome. I'm feeding you. That's your answer to your children if they complain. So that's my tips. And again, I want to say, it can be a slow process. For myself and my whole cooking saga, first I started making easier meals, then I finally started meal prepping. Now, as of a few weeks ago, my husband and I are both individually responsible for feeding ourselves, and it's been amazing. And we still like share food, cook for each other, shop for each other, all this stuff. Like, we're partners, we're here to help. And actually, now I remember, it really started by not having any gatherings. I realized I was kind of having them more just to impress my friends. It was always fun. It was good to see them, but ultimately I realized like I didn't have fun because I was working the whole time. I chose to work the whole time. I'm making an event for them to enjoy, but I don't enjoy it. We did not host for a few years. And then last fall, we hosted for the first time in a long time. And I put some boundaries on myself. By the time guests arrived, I had to be done cooking. I had to be done working altogether. Everything needed to be out, ready, and I needed to be sitting down carving a pumpkin. And I did. I made a huge thing of chili in the slow cooker, some different cornbreads, had the little toppings. I bought a cookie cake. And it was incredible. I had so much fun. I actually enjoyed the fun party that I put on. And at the end, there was a meteor shower when everyone was leaving, and it just felt like a sign from the universe that like, yes, you did it right. Good job. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this got you to dig into yourself, figure out why you insist on folding your children's clothes when they don't really care and you could just throw it into their drawer or whatever it is. I just hope this has gotten you to discover some beliefs that maybe you don't want to keep and to adopt some new ones that are more helpful and positive for you, because you deserve to explore your interests. You're more than housework. You should enjoy your time here on Earth. Plus, the robots are going to be doing all this stuff eventually, so we got to figure out what we're going to do to fill our time. Thanks. Peace out.